Welcome. Hi, everyone. Great to see your little bobbing profile pictures. Hi, Amy. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Fiona. Thanks, everyone. We'll start in just a few moments. Grateful to be together. I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't think we've been together. And I think it was before my retreat was the last time we were together live. So I'm very grateful we get this time together. Okay, sound is great. Thanks for that feedback. That means that I have everything set up properly. Hopefully, our connection is good. It's a little spotty sometimes here. Hi, Tracy. Mm, so grateful to see you all. Hi, Thierry. Hi, Karen. Great, 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 great. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Camille. Mm. Oh, great. Welcome to Kiran and anyone else who's here for the first time. Extra warm welcome. And of course, a warm welcome to everyone. My name is Selena Layel, and this is one of our live sessions here on Insight Timer. If you're watching someplace that is not Insight Timer right now, I invite you to join us on Insight Timer. Hi, Marty. Hi, Barbara. Oh, let's see what to say. Well, for those joining who are newer to our time together, I have a lot of content for free here on the Insight Timer app. I also have a lot of, or a decent amount of content on the subscriber side as well. I have two courses. One is called Yogic Practices for a Peaceful Life, and the other is called Awaken My Heart, a Guide to Living with Self Love. And then I offer these live sessions as well. Yeah, it seems there might be something down with the Insight Timer site. My profile page was not popping up, but generally, if you'd like to listen to content or find more ways to stay connected or learn about my retreats, I do offer retreats as well. We just had a fabulous retreat in Hawaii, which I know some of you were present for. And we have another retreat coming up in Bali in May. So you can find out all of this and more on my profile page when it is up and running, as well as the schedule for the live events because the time zone is going to be changing again. Grateful when we get to be with different parts of our community based on the time zone. I know many of you don't get to be together, be with me when I'm over on that side of the planet. And so it's nice when I'm here. When I'm over there, it's nice for others. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be together wherever we are. Oh, hi, Richard. Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks, Theory. They're saying click and follow on the notifications, and that will let you know when I've released new content or when I have upcoming live events. Oh, thanks, Tracy sharing. Selena's retreats are life changing, soul changing, beyond words. And for anyone who's unfamiliar with Tracy, Tracy is a teacher here on the app, Tracy McCree, beautiful, beautiful teacher and guide who is gifting us regularly these days with uploading new content. So I can't encourage listening to Tracy enough. Hi, Amber. Hi, love. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, just be present. Grateful to be with you, however, you're here. All right. Without further ado, let us begin our session. Let's start today with the centering technique. And of course, if you can't move your body, you can always visualize different physical techniques that I offer. Let's bring the palms to touch at the heart. Relax the shoulders down. Let's soften the face, allow a space between the teeth and the lips. Let's take a deep breath in, a full breath out. And now we will inhale, reaching the right hand all the way up through center. And then the left hand's going to come down to the navel. So the hands are reaching as far apart as they can. Then we exhale slowly, really slowly here to bring the hands through center all the way back to the heart. Inhale, left hand all the way up, right hand goes down by the navel. Maybe straighten the upper arm in your midline. Exhale, really slowly take your time. Soften the shoulders, the face. We'll do this one more time with the right hand leading up. Inhale, right hand up, left hand by navel. Exhale slowly to the heart. Let's pause here for for a moment. Feel your palms and fingers touching. Allow your breath to be slow and deep. Let's place one hand on the heart center, the other hand on the belly. Continue to breathe slowly and deeply. Bring your awareness to the top of the head. Slowly begin to move your attention down through the face, the head. Continue to move down through the body. And as you become aware of the parts of the face, the neck, the throat, the belly, as you continue to move down, aware of the body, if you notice any place inside where there's gripping, tension, contraction, maybe you can use the breath to just soften that a little. So we lovingly move our awareness down through the whole body, consciously softening, consciously relaxing, consciously letting go. This could feel like physically letting go of tension. It could also feel like a letting go of stagnant or agitated emotion or thought, just this deep sense of letting go as much as you feel ready to. If you haven't already, move your awareness down into the legs. And we'll take a few more breaths to all complete our scan through the body, arriving at the soles of the feet. Let's take a deep breath together. Maybe exhale with a sigh through the mouth. Another deep breath in, sigh on the exhale. And when you're ready, if the eyes are closed, I invite you to slowly open them as we arrive in this space together. Hmm. Thank you. John is sharing something that uh, reminds me of something I wish to share with you. Well, first of all, if you're not here with us on Insight Timer, we won't be able to see your comments. So I invite you to join us on Insight Timer so that we can be part of this community experience together. And what I was reminded of seeing John's comment is that my beautiful, beautiful parents, who have been teachers of meditation for over 50 years and are two of my greatest teachers, they're both here on the app and they offer live sessions. So if you haven't already experienced them, I highly recommend, I warmly welcome you to just experience their wisdom. Their live sessions are quite different from one another and both full of love and wisdom. So my mom's name is Sandy Magrum. Her lives are on Thursdays, and my dad is named Jonas Magrum, and his lives are generally on Fridays. Oh, hi, Brad. Hi, Tom. Hi, John. Wonderful. So grateful to be together. So hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for taking this time to be with yourself, to be together. Hi, Yetta. I was sharing something on Instagram the other day. If if you don't already know, Insight Timer has a very wonderful Instagram page that is full of loving reminders to bring us back to peace and to the self and to love. And although I don't post as often as I used to, I do have an active Instagram page where I post loving reminders and food for thought as well. Oh, hi, Lori. Wonderful. So I posted the other day this invitation to return to love, to choose love, because we're in a time on the planet where for many of us it can feel uh, really easy to choose whatever non-love is, really easy to fall into hatred, to fall into a desire for vengeance, to fall into apathy, to fall into resentment, to fall into feeding divisiveness. And although discernment is very key in our path of self awareness and our own growth and evolution and maturity, being able to say, I understand this and the distinction of that. Yes, discernment is very valuable. And divisiveness, creating division, is something completely different for me. And for anyone who's newer to our time together, um, I'm not here to say that you need to believe what I believe or that you need to agree with me. You're welcome to take what resonates, leave the rest, be here as you are. That's what this space is. Some of you are here today for the first time. Some of us have been coming together in this space for going on 6 years. And this is a space for us to be just as we are, emotionally, mentally, physically, with whatever we're churning through, whatever darkness is there, or discomfort, agitation, or whatever light and joy is there. It's all welcome here. This is a place for us to be with the fullness of our experience because that's who we are. We're whole beings as we are. We're not, I am light and a spiritual being, but I'm not that other bad stuff. I'm not the shame and I'm not the rage and I'm not the hatred. I'm too spiritual for all of that. We are whole beings. We are all of the experience. The being that we are isn't the hatred and the jealousy and the fear and the pain or the joy. It's the being that we are is the infinite nature, yes? The human experience, though, is all of that. And we're having the human experience. So our wholeness encompasses everything that we experience. Yes, we can have the experience of it all rather than saying, "Oh, I don't want to feel fear, so I'm just going to pretend that it's not there." And meanwhile, it's like cutting off our own arm. It's part of the experience we're having in that moment. So, this space is for us to be with all of our experience. So, we're in this time right now where it's really easy, even for those of us, some of us who have been practicing love and compassion, metta, kindness for years or even decades, sometimes we can get activated. So, we have a choice in each moment. We have a choice. When we are confronted with the atrocities of the world, whether through our phones or TVs or through our neighbors or through our personal interactions, in each moment we have the choice to say, okay, am I going to feed divisiveness inside of me, separation inside of me, feeding it outside of me? Or am I going to feed something else? I'm not here to say there's a right way. We each metabolize and process pain, challenges, trauma differently. So I'm not here to say that we're just supposed to choose being happy all the time, and that's just great. Choose being happy in the face of absolute tragedy and atrocity. Okay, some will say that. Some say that we choose that. I don't believe there's one path. For me, there is a metabolization that happens. Metabolization? Is that the word? Is that a word? You know, sometimes your brain is like, is that a word? And sometimes it's a really simple word like was. Is that a word? Anyway, you get what I'm saying here. So I have the choice in each moment to choose. And some moments I need to choose letting myself feel the rage of injustice or feel the gravity of grief or feel the fear that comes up. Sometimes I need to just feel that. Sometimes that's what needs to occur in the moment. The place where it really becomes about a decision for me is what am I feeding? I was recently watching this show. I've been indulging in lots of entertainment these days, which is okay. Sometimes I go through periods where I don't entertain those things at all, and then sometimes I'm like, I just need to, like, center in that way, ground in that way. And I was watching this show where, there was a small element of kind of like a witch hunt in it, and I was thinking about how that is also happening present day, and we see it through things like cancel culture. I was sitting with it. I even looked it up a little bit. I was like, what is the human need for a witch hunt? What is the human need to go after people and vilify them and hang them out in front of people publicly? Like, what is this human need? Feels very like reptilian brain. Yes, like down with that person who did the thing. And we all come together and we agree with it. Yes, down with that person. They must pay. And everyone comes together in this collective rage and fear. So for me, what am I choosing in a world right now that is crumbling from what we have known in many of our cultures and many of our countries? What am I choosing? And you heard me say, I didn't say I'm pretending everything is okay, because it's not. You heard me say I feel what I need to feel, and I take actions too. I'm not just sitting here on the sidelines as the world is going through this transformation. I'm doing the things physically in this world that I can do to make a difference in the ways that I feel to called to, whether that's phone calls or donations or standing up for somebody else who can't stand up for themselves for whatever reason. Whatever it is, I'm doing all of the actions, and yet I'm choosing. Am I going to be part of the witch hunt? Am I going to get my pitchfork and be in that rage and that fear collectively? Am I going to choose to remember love? I had someone ask the other day, they said they were essentially saying, with all that's happening in the world and the horrible things that some people are doing to others, how can we choose to love them? And I would say maybe it's not even about jumping to loving thy enemy, because some of us can do that. Some of us can really move into this expansive space of compassion, and we can find love and compassion for the people who are doing the worst things on the planet. For some of us, it's not even an option in our minds to consider that. So, my offer to this person asking the question was maybe we just start small. Maybe it's just about choosing love a little bit through our thoughts throughout the day. Maybe it's just choosing a small way of being that's kind or a small way of being that's loving. Maybe we just start small in our own being, a small act of love and kindness for someone in our friend group or our family or a neighbor. Maybe it's just that. And then maybe as that love and kindness grows inside of us, maybe we feel we can extend it a little further. And as many of you know, our relationship to ourself is a mirror of our relationship with others and vice versa. Relationships are mirrors. So for me, there's always an opportunity to have inquiry. How am I being with myself? In what ways am I judging myself? In what ways am I rejecting myself? In what ways am I making myself wrong? In what ways am I not accepting myself? I could go on and on. But so much of how I'm able to be with others is a reflection of how I am with myself. If I'm beating myself up, it's going to be really difficult for me to find love and compassion for others, especially if I feel like they're doing things that are wrong. Yes. So maybe it's just small expressions of love. And we start there. So many of comments have been coming in, and I'd like to come to your comments. It's part of the beauty of being together in community. So let's come back to your comments. John shared, I struggle to not be overwhelmed and outraged by what is happening and just acknowledge what is and rationally deciding how to act. Yeah. And that's very admirable to not become so lost in our own reactivity that we can no longer show up for others. That's part of the conversation I have in my mind, or the reasoning I have in my mind of the value of choosing love or choosing kindness or choosing compassion. It makes me more available to serve. If I'm lost in my own suffering and interpretation of what's happening, my own outrage, I'm not very good at being able to show up for others. My capacity to make a difference becomes limited if that's what I'm feeding. And again, you've heard me say, I didn't say I'm happy all of the time and everything's okay. I said I feel it. I sit with the rage. I sit with the grief. I sit with the fear. I sit with the things. I'm not the best at always sitting with it. Sometimes it gets a little stuck in there and then I have to remember that need to sit with it. But um I do. I feel it. I'm not repressing here. I'm being with it all. I'm taking actions and I'm choosing where I put my attention, choosing where I allow my thoughts to go, choosing what emotional energies I feed, and so on. Brad shares, yes, it's a rocky road, easy to trip up, like to be aware of stepping slowly and trusting my intuition moving forward. Lovely. Thanks, Brad. Lori shared, since fear is an emotion that summons action, it is a beautiful choice to lean into positive action that serves the community, even through self-healing. Yeah, so many of the emotions that we experience that many of us have at one point called bad, they're fuel. For those of you who've been with me for some time, you know that I have the belief, the idea that there are no bad or wrong emotions at all. And we can even see they're often in service to us, not always, but they are often messengers or trying to protect us or care for us. Anger is often the secondary emotion covering fear. Fear is there to keep us safe, right? So we can use these different emotional energies as fuel and fire. Sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes there is so much anger or there is so much rage that it becomes a fire for people to take action so that something changes. And that's a lot of what we're kind of seeing now. People are finally coming together, and it's not like as much as there is a lot of love in the ways that people are coming together, the fuel has been I'm no longer effing standing for the injustice that's happening to people. This is not okay. So, absolutely. Absolutely. Theory shares, I try to moderate the level of information and want to balance the information, moderate and sending light, moderate and sending light, and make a difference in the gentle way and taking the time to brighten my inner light so I can keep on radiating love and light. We have more power if we don't give attention so much for the negative things and sending each other and sending each and every one, the people around us, with billions of lovely people, we are so strong. Yes, I think we get the sentiment there. That's lovely. Thank you. And I appreciate all you said, and I appreciate how you said, um, we have so much power if we don't give our attention so much to the negative things. And for me, that doesn't mean looking away from what's happening in the world, but it means moderating how I'm feeding myself with the information of what is happening in the world. So, and also different perspectives. There's so much commentary out there, people's opinions about all of the different things happening. And a lot of people are just out there using their voice to express their rage, express their fear, express their opinions. And some of that I find to be pretty destructive. So I really choose what I participate in and with my beautiful mind. Yeah. Nia shared, I have a huge capacity for compassion and understanding of others, but I do wonder if that is actually avoidance. That I would rather tell myself there's no such thing as a bad person than deal with the disappointment of immoral humanity. Yeah, that's a very powerful inquiry. I really hear that. Sounds like a really powerful place to go in yourself. And maybe it's both, right? Maybe there is this natural capacity. I was reading something earlier that was speaking about how every single human being innately has compassion. It's our nature. And I think I was just thinking about when I was reading that, I was thinking about each of us as children and how it's so natural for a child. I mean, of course, it depends on the environment and what they're exposed to, but in our essence as children, it's so natural for us to say, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Is everything going to be okay? I love you. It's okay." Like it's so natural for children to be that way. So, yeah, powerful inquiry to say, and also for me, like in my journey, because I've somehow uh, some of that has stayed intact inside of me, even with everything I've been through in my life. The compassion, and of course, it's also been very much nurtured by me and by my 25 years of studying with my beloved teacher, Her Holiness Sai Ma. Compassion is the cornerstone of the teachings, compassion and love. So anyway, let's come back. So this awareness, this discernment, again, speaking of discernment, of being able, this is for me personally, I'm not saying anyone else needs to be like this or should be like this. For me personally, to be able to hold this compassion for every being, even the ones that I feel otherwise about at times, and also being able to face what's happening in the world as it is, to face it as it is. Yes, I can practice compassion, and this human being is doing these things that I went too far because now I have to use descriptive words. I don't have to do anything, but um, yeah. It's almost like you're real time watching a little bit of a glitch in my own brain where I'm still bridging that. There's this part of me that there's a practice I have used many times for many years, and many of you have done this practice with me. And it's a compassion practice where you imagine someone standing across from you. And this is always good to start with someone who you don't have a lot of charge around, but you imagine that person standing across from you. They're probably an adult, or maybe a young adult, and you see them as they are, and then you gradually see them younger and younger and younger until they're an infant. And from that place, you see this person as an infant. And I've used this practice for a long time, and I use it with the people who I feel like right now. It's interesting if I'm just keeping it real, because that's how we do it here. Like I just thought of someone who's doing things in the world, and my physical body had like a response of disgust of the atrocities that this person is participating in creating. So being able to imagine someone like that in front of me, and then using this practice, and there are other layers to it, but using this practice to eventually see that person as an infant, and that helps me get to compassion because I see that they didn't start this way. They weren't always like this. And whatever pain and terror or fear or disappointment or whatever they went through, it shaped them. And there's more to it usually, but it's kind of a simplified way of being able to access compassion. Tracy shared something. Tracy shared, as you said at the beginning, accepting the light, rejecting the darkness. Yeah, Trace, you said you were responding to something 11 minutes ago. I wish I knew what you were responding to. And for me, I'm not exactly sure what you meant there, my love. Feel free to explain, but for me, it's never about rejecting. It's about accepting it all. And I think that's maybe what you meant, because we have done work together for a long time. So, or maybe I just got it out of context. Yeah. So accepting it all. That's a whole other topic. Yes. Um, let's see here. Hi, Aziz. As I shared, I feel that the victims need all our love, and they need us to name uh, crucialities and perpetrators. Oops. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Yes, the Desmond Tutu quote. And I feel that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And for me, part of what I think about restorative justice, and I think about how, and of course, there's timing for everything. I think about how if we just cut off the sick members of society, then there's a lack of, I mean, this is actually, of course, a much deeper, bigger conversation that I'm trying to make concise, and it's not really working for what I wish to share. I think I'll just say that although in some situations with some people and some psyches, maybe restorative justice might seem like a long, difficult road that might even seem impossible. But I'm more of a stand of knowing, believing that peace on this planet will not come from cutting out the bad. It will come from bringing the bad into the good, bringing the good into the bad so that it all transforms. Otherwise, I think we'll just have a continuation of cycles again and again and again. There needs to be a transformation. It makes me think of the teaching that my beloved teacher, Saima, gives, or I've heard Ma give on enlightenment and the ego. Many of you are familiar with this concept of the ego, this limited consciousness that is is holding on to this illusion of separation and lives from this space of fear, which is the human experience for most. Not meaning that we're always in fear, but this consciousness, this construct. And the teaching is to, rather than annihilating the ego, cutting off the head of the ego, that we bring the ego into the light. We bring light into the ego. We enlighten the ego. So it's not about trying to kill something. It's about bringing so much light into that disillusioned, terrified, contracted place that it remembers that it is the light as well. It's like that wonderful quote that I love so much. How do you, what is it? How do you alchemize a soulless world? You treat, essentially, you treat everyone as if they're sacred until the sacred in them remembers. And I know that these teachings, um, they might seem kind of far-fetched and idealized in times of terror and war and so much of what we're facing. And it's much more nuanced, maybe, and it will likely take much more than these simple ideas. And yet, at the heart of it, for me, this is what I will believe. This is what I believe will create peace on our planet, is this way of being, this way of thinking. So, yeah. Okay. Coming back to a couple more of your comments. Hi, Kelly. Richard shares, I feel so strongly about some things happening in the US, and I am clued up about it. But here in the UK, I feel like I can't speak to anyone about it. I feel anger too much. Sometimes I get so disappointed in people and the world, and I don't know what to do. Yeah, love. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. You're not alone. You're not alone in that. You're not alone in those feelings. And so I guess one thing we could consider is how can we as you know, because you and I have been together for years now, how can we use our tools to be with the parts of us in distress, right? Like the meditation I have here on the app, the self soothing technique, emotional healing, self soothing. Doing things like this to really allow the emotion to move, to be with the parts of ourselves. Parts work is so fabulous to find greater ease inside of us. And then we can also sometimes it doesn't have to be a direct thing. I mean, sometimes if we're able to do things directly, maybe it's donate or do other things that can help people in other places. Um, but when we can't, sometimes it's good to just do what we can in our communities, like the communities where we are locally. Okay, maybe I feel like I can't make a difference in something that's happening in this other country. What can I do right here at home to make a difference? How can I create a better world right here around me right now, starting from the inside? Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you all for your shares. Really grateful for all of your shares. Yes, Brooke. Yes, yes, yes. Ah, hi, Nina. Hmm. Infinite shared outdating the bad by building inspiring alternatives, even if we need to rebuild them 1,000 times. Yeah, we just rebuild, 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 rebuild. And, part of what's so powerful to me in this time on the planet, and it's multifaceted, but I feel like we're coming together maybe in more ways than we ever have. There's a coming together in our communities, even countries are coming together. People from other countries are coming together. We wish to stand for justice. We wish to stand for all all being safe and being at peace. And not everyone feels this way. I understand that, and that's okay. But I do see this coming more and more in humanity's evolution, this coming together. Oh, my friends, thank you. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Yeah, Thierry shares, Richard, you are not alone. For me, Insight Timer is the best place for me to share our sacred and honest feelings and write in my journal. Great. Yeah. Hey, Chris, great to see you. Nia shares 100%. It feels like we are aligning, collaborating from across borders. Absolutely. Oh, wonderful, Michelle. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Mm, potent, potent time. That's such an understatement. It was just the word that was coming out of my mouth as I felt my heart kind of exploding in this moment being together. My heart holding everything happening in the world, as I know so many of us feel regularly. Brad shares, sometimes it's exhausting just talking about what's going on. Still must persevere. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And it's okay. It's okay to take time for self-care so that we can regulate our own nervous system, so that we can be, like I was sharing earlier, so that we can be more available to be of service. If we're exhausted and just completely emotionally drained and our nervous system is constantly dysregulated, it's not very easy for us to show up and be of service to others. So it's really important for us to take care of ourselves. Also, just because you deserve it. You deserve rest. You deserve moments of joy and moments of peace and moments of love. I know sometimes we can feel guilty for having moments of pleasure or goodness when so many are suffering. And yet, those moments of pleasure are sometimes the things that help us become more regulated and more resilient and more available to continue persevering together. Yeah. Michelle shares, I found myself getting angry and annoyed with others here recently. I'm not normally like that. Yeah. Yeah. What does that tell you about what's happening inside of you? That's always the big inquiry. I notice myself feeling things. I notice myself becoming reactive. What is that telling me about myself? What is that showing me? Maybe it's what is that showing me that I need? What is that showing me that is inside of me? Always such great inquiry with our mirrors. Michelle shares, I have to cut back my self care, trying to give more to work. I need to step back, but it's so hard. Thanks for sharing that, Michelle. For me, that's why sadhana is so important. Sadhana is this word that refers to a daily spiritual practice. Um, Even if it's just 5 minutes of silence a day or 5 minutes of meditation a day, having a daily practice to help keep us anchored in these times that so much is happening. There's so much coming up, so much terror and grief and rage and just coming up. And so much is happening. It's continuing to come up. It's like everything's being revealed. Everything's coming to the surface. And it feels kind of like it's happening all at once in all these different parts of the planet. So, having sadhana, having a daily spiritual practice to ground us is really invaluable. It's like, imagine going the entire day without breathing. Taking that time for sadhana is like you're breathing again. And the more that we take time each day for our daily practice, I'm using the word spiritual because that's how it's described, but for you, it might not seem spiritual. It might feel like a nervous system regulation technique that you don't consider spiritual. Whatever it is, taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever you can, but doing it every single day and nurturing the spirit, nurturing your light, nurturing your peace. Doing this has a cumulative effect, a compounding effect, so that the more you're doing it, the more you're able to face everything that's happening inside of you, in the world. Nina shares, thank you, Selena, for your beautiful teachings. First time joining you live, but your self healing meditations have been and have blended into my daily practice. Beautiful. Welcome, Nina. Wonderful. Here shares, Selena, I feel it too. So touched by our presence here, all together healing. Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I love that. As this shares, Michelle, you deserve to fill your cup. Love all this love. I love when we start to love each other in the chat. Brad shares, thanks, Selena. This is a wonderful way to reset. Grounded and being present always is a boost. Yeah, thanks, love. Thank you all for being here. It really is such medicine to be together, to be heard by each other, to be reminded that we're not alone in the things that we go through, that we're not wrong or bad for feeling whatever we're feeling, to be going through things however we're going through them. We're not alone. We're not alone. Any last shares before we complete today? Hey, Jen. Jen shares, I love this love. I love each and every one of you. Love wins. Yes, Jen. Thank you. Great, Michelle. I'm so glad you're here. I welcome you here with my whole heart, just as you are, just as you are. Great, Richard. I'm so glad. And remember, my friends, we all have also like our go to emotions. Like we have these emotions that are our most habituated way of feeling emotion. So for me, like sadness is my most well mastered emotion. I'll feel it randomly all the time. It's kind of like my primary emotion. But for some of us, our primary emotion is fear. For some of us, our primary emotion is anger. And so let's remember that when things are happening in the world, we do have these habitual ways of feeling. So it's also really important to tend to ourselves and to tend to our feelings so that this energy can move. Wonderful, Brooke. I'm grateful you're here. Thank you. Chris shares, I set aside 4 to 6 times a day to pause in complete silence with my eyes closed, focusing on my breath for 3 minutes each time. And I use the insight activity list to keep myself accountable. That's beautiful, Chris. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's great, right? So, really utilizing the app for this daily support and daily commitment to yourself. That's great. And I love that this is, again, one of the teachings that Saima has offered us forever is just take time throughout the day. If you can, maybe even once an hour, and just pause for 60 seconds. That's it, just 1 minute. Just pause and be still. You don't even have to do any techniques or change or like sit in some rigid posture. Just be still. Give yourself this gift of stillness for just 1 minute, even just a few times a day. It's a game changer. And for those who were here at the beginning or who you know the centering technique because we've practiced it together, use the centering technique. It's such a powerful way to ground and center. Thanks, sis. Thanks for continuing to be here together for all these years. Oh, I love that. Jen shares, Michelle, give yourself a big hug from me and from you, sweetheart. Yes, and me too, please. Michelle shares, mine is right now. I'm overly sensitive and can't stop crying. Oh, love. If we had more time, I'd speak more on this fully, but why don't we all just do something together? Michelle, if you feel open to doing this, I invite you to join me and anyone who wishes to join. So many of us, we really just judge ourselves all the time. We have such a hard time understanding that wherever we're at in our process, that it's okay. We have all these ideas, especially in this world with all these wonderful quotes and wonderful spiritual teachings. We have this idea of perfection that we're supposed to be a certain way, and it negates the human experience and leaves us feeling like we're less than and doing something wrong and things are bad and it should be different. And it's effing exhausting and really painful. So, Michelle, my love, and anyone who wishes, I invite you just place one hand on your heart if you can, and then place the other hand on your belly or anywhere on your body where it just feels kind of comforting. You can have the eyes open or closed. Let's just all take a deep breath together and just say to yourself, whatever I'm feeling is okay. Whatever I'm feeling is okay. And it's okay if you don't believe it yet. Just say it again. Whatever I'm feeling is okay. It's okay to feel. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. And I really invite you to say this to yourself. There's nothing wrong with me. And there's no right way to do this. There's no right way to do this. I acknowledge myself for doing my best in every moment. Even if you don't believe it, I invite you to say it. I acknowledge myself for doing my best in every moment. I acknowledge myself for doing my best in every moment. Because this is the truth, my beloveds. As much as we have standards and ideals or think that we're supposed to be a certain way, we really are doing our best in every moment, based on our capacity, based on our emotions, based on our physical wellness, based on our mental state, our emotional state. We're doing our best. We're showing up as much as we can. So to reject ourselves or beat ourselves up and say, I should be this way, I should be that way, it should be this way, it's just as painful, creating more pain. So let's just say one more time to ourselves, whatever I'm feeling is okay. It's okay to feel. There's nothing wrong with me. I accept myself just as I am. This is a big one. I accept myself just as I am. I accept myself just as I am. Let's take a deep breath in and we'll exhale through the mouth. Oh, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. I wish you a beautiful, kind day or night, wherever you are. Great, Michelle. I'm so glad to read that. Yes, and Tom shared no matter what is going on in the world, we can overcome it with compassion and love. Love you. Thank you for your light. We'll be together again soon when my profile page is not glitching. You'll be able to see when my next live events are. I'll be adding some for March as well. Thank you. And let us remember that we do have a choice. We have a choice what we feed our thoughts, our emotions, our bodies, what content and information we are taking in, how we're being with ourselves, how we're speaking to ourselves, how we're being with others. Make sure to get some fresh air, even if it's winter and freezing where you are. Go outside for just a moment. The earth is such a healer. Take a moment to remember that you are a being of light. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. Let us remember who we are. And maybe, just maybe, we'll heal the planet together. I believe so. I love you.